Hello, everyone. The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes, and if you'd like to hear the entire episode, please head over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip. I guess when it comes to the faith thing, so it's because the thing that this film doesn't explore that I wish it would is that the existence of extraterrestrial life, to me, is an immediate contradiction to some aspects of Christianity.
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely doesn't go there.
Exact, and it doesn't talk about those things. And again, I'm entering into the territory where I'm like, well, what is this movie? I'm mad at what this movie is not doing, the movie I would rather see. So I'm trying to avoid that, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if you're going to open up these conversations,
right,
that should be a factor.
Okay, well, let me hit you with this then. Do you consider this film a religious film?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, there was no hesitation. I thought you might want to reflect on it for a moment, but okay, so tell me why.
And when you say, is it a religious film, or you say, is it pro-religion, or is it just about religion?
Yes, both.
I mean, again, we've already said that the central crux of the story is Mel Gibson's crisis of faith.
Okay, but faith is not the same as religion.
That's true, I guess. No, you are right. I guess because he is Episcopalian, so it is immediately labeled as Christianity, and then we're also not talking about any of the other religions, which...
Well, but there is talk of other religions, because that was one of the things I found when I was looking at some of the reviews that came out at the time, because this film, some critics came down on very harshly because they felt like it was so pro-Episcopalian, and that it wasn't really offering any kind of alternatives, or even the suggestion that this movie, Mel Gibson's family would have died had he not had faith. And I thought that was a weird almost responsibility to put on the film, because even though religion is at the center of it, I don't feel like it's inherently pro-religion.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess my answer was more so, it is a religious film because it is about that. I don't necessarily know if I would say, because again, that's where we're going into, well, we are watching one man.
Mm-hmm.
Is the film also preaching that? And I think you could make the argument that it is because of the way the film ends.
Right.
But I also think that you can view it in a way where it's well, we can then go into this discussion between Meryl and Graham about, miracles versus coincidence.
Right.
It's more so that the film is saying, well, this is a possibility. This character specifically makes this read from the events around him. But I think for me, myself, I'm like, well, I don't really believe that at all. So I'm taking it a different way. He's saying, oh, well, God made my son have asthma because he knew this was going to happen. And so he needed to be saved because he wanted my son to be alive. Right. I'm just like, well, no, that's just your luck, man. I'm sorry. But that's the whole point of that conversation.
Yeah. And yet, there were a number of people, and I'm, again, specifically referring to critics, who definitely said, oh, the film is making this argument because of this central character's arc and journey. I did want to give a mention that Shyamalan is not a religious person. He doesn't subscribe to a certain faith, although he does end up, I guess, invoking religious aspects into various facets of his film, but it's not always Christianity. There is a mention that there were other cultures in even this film, Signs, that managed to, find a workaround to deal with the alien invasion, but it isn't unpacked or explored in any detail.
And so to be clear, so he was raised Hindu, he attended a private Roman Catholic grammar school, and then he also went to an Episcopal academy. So to me, and I'm just guessing here, I really think that he's exposed to 3 different religions. And I know Roman Catholic and Episcopal are in the same Christianity umbrella, but they're still very different inherently. Yeah. To me, it's well, okay, how often do we as a society get to really study other religions? And of course, if you're studying theology, yes, obviously. That's not...
We're saying the average person.
Yes, that's not something that happens. A lot of times it's what religion you have, and so you don't think... Some people don't think to question and whatever. So I actually think, to me, he has been exposed to a variety of different religions and exploring those things. And so that, to me, is why I don't think the film is preaching religion. It's more so he's well, these are conversations we can have about the subject matter.
Yes.
And I feel truthfully, even though I don't believe this, that this character of Graham would believe this. And that tracks for me.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring up specifically that scene between Meryl and Graham. It is almost a focalization where a lot of people naturally gravitate to that scene. They want to unpack the issues of faith in the way that the two of them talk about it, right? Because Meryl is reaching out to his brother who has strong ties to religion and is saying, can you say something to reassure me? And Graham is saying, well, here, let me tell you this kind of like anecdote fable.
Right.
And then he immediately undercuts it by saying, but we don't believe that. There's nothing out there. We are on our own. And if we're going to get through this, we have to do it ourselves. And yes, that is the basis of his emotional arc. You know, he will have to rescind that statement and come back to God by film's end. But I feel like that's also the film saying you need to have faith, but it doesn't have to be religious faith per se. Like, that is Graham's journey, but I feel like the film is more interested in having the conversation about faith.
Yes. No, I agree. And again, if I were in Graham's shoes, I would not have turned back to my faith and put on my fucking collar again. Like, no. And at the same time, I wish that would have been what happened. I wish that he would have been able to turn away from his faith, his religion, but find faith in life again, if that makes any sense.
Atlas Avenue, a long stretch of road that encompasses everything the city of Kennett Heights has to offer. Neon lights, traffic, crime, the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and the craziest of characters. My office was above it all. My name is James Locke, and I'm a PI.
Hello, Mr. J. How the hell you doing today?
Good, Edith. Nearly every year I have a new case. New people to meet, new clues to discover, and new problems to solve. But I do it the old-fashioned way. No technology. Nothing post-1950. Hell, I don't even listen to podcasts, but you should. Atlas Avenue Beat is a spoof of the film noir genre with goofy characters, tons of wordplay, and non-stop raunchy humor. There's also 3 whole seasons out right now with more on the way. Just search for Atlas Avenue Beat wherever you listen to podcasts or visit us online at bloody.fm.
Hello, I'm Shelby Scott, the host of Scare You to Sleep, a podcast where I tell you spooky bedtime stories full of creepy sound effects and music that is soothing yet unsettling to help immerse you into a world of horror. This is a show for those of us who have realized horror can be a strange but relaxing escape from reality. Speaking of escapes, sometimes I lead you through guided nightmares, like a guided meditation, but instead of flowery meadows, I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm. Sweet screams.